Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we'll move towards another complex and a little more complicated area of journalistic writing, and that will be, of course, dividing your, or combining your, sentences and making, paragraphs. Before we go into it, I would like to throw a little light on what we talked about in our previous, two classes. If you remember, in our last two classes, we were talking about writers' language choices, and we talked about what words are proper in what different, situations. If you remember, the Swift's stylistical definition was very much to the T in clearing our concepts about what is style and what are language choices. If you remember, we studied that style means proper words in proper, places. We discussed, 5 principles which writers have to follow when they, decide to choose what words, to pick for the, different, situations. Side by side, we discussed some pitfalls also. And I discussed, a survey report of Plain English campaign with you as well. Out of those pitfalls, I would like to recall a few, like one important was, ambiguity when our, messages do not, speak or tell us what actually we as writers, mean. One was circumlocution, which was like, writing too much for too little, wasting your words for nothing. And then we talked about some, problems like euphemism and grandiloquence. I mean, unnecessarily choosing to be indirect where direct, would do and serve the purpose. And then was like, grandiloquence, being pompous. And I, talked about that there can be 4 versions, one pompous and second standard, and then colloquial, and then substandard. And out of these 4, I said, well, the best one and the safest one is, of course, the standard one. And whenever we talk about global, writing or global messaging or global communication, there, of course, we mean that our writing, our word choices, our language choices should be keeping average, person in mind. No, I mean, of course, you'll have different, classes, your readers into different classes, those highly educated, those extremely uneducated, but you have to focus, the intermediate, language user as a reader. So global, communication and global messaging demands what? It demands, what to say, short and familiar, word choices, and easy to understand, structural, choices also. And then we talked about, cliches, which, as I told, that cliches are like, words which are overused, which are hackneyed, which are like so commonly used, and they are in everybody's, stock. When these such words, come in your writing, what happens? It spoils the crisp and the freshness of your expression. And then I, of course, enlisted a few cliches which, according to some survey, are the most annoying and the irritating one. And I advised you that, keep yourself, stay miles away, from such word choices. We also talked about, redundancy. We also talked about excrescence, Redundancy means repetition unnecessarily when you repeat words. And also excrescence, such words which are bankrupt and awkward, which do not add anything to your writing. So, there was quite a healthy discussion with you about language choices. Today, now we are going to move towards paragraph writing. This part and then other, like, parts coming next are, of course, going to be complicated. We are now moving towards the difficulty level of this course. You have talked about, the qualities and the characteristics of writing and writers, and, the word choices, and, sentence making, its types, its like a grammatical sentence and its issues, effective sentences and issues, word choices, stylistical, like, pitfalls and all. And now towards paragraph writing. And then onwards, you would see, we'll discuss different writing styles also, like descriptive writing, narrative writing, expository, investigative, persuasive writing, and especially the journalistic, writing styles, their word choices, and their paragraphic understanding, sentence making, and of course some mechanics also, some punctuation part of it. And then of course we'll move towards the newspaper writing, like news thing and editorial and column and feature. So, I mean, today onwards, you would see that we will be rocketing now towards the complex issues of, journalistic writing. Before I, go any further in and towards paragraphing thing, I would like to refresh your memory with the linguistic rank scale, which we once discussed. If you remember, I said, like, the language story starts from what? Of course, they start from the graphemes. Grapheme are what? They are the symbols for writing. Like we have symbols for speaking. If you remember, when we talked about dictionary thing, there I mentioned that we have some notational systems, which guide us, like how to pronounce words. Exactly the same way, this ABC thing is, we call this thing grapheme, and we, combine grapheme, and we make, of course, what? We make morphemes. What are morphemes? Morphemes are the smallest, units, or you can say baby words, actually. Roots, you can call them. And you combine morphemes. What happens? Of course, you form lexes. And when you combine lexes, of course, you reach this, what you call phrases. And combining phrases results, of course, in clause making, and you combine clauses. If you remember, in grammatical, like, sentence, I was talking about combining clauses and making, different types of sentences, compound and complex and multiple compound, complex and all. And if you remember, we talked also about, 5 different, types of basic clause patterns. And then what happens next? When you combine sentences, you actually make paragraphs. And combining paragraphs means, the text making, and, then, of course, you move towards the discourse stuff. Now, paragraphing, frankly speaking, is difficult. I mean, look here. When we were talking about sentence thing, I gave you the 4 characteristics, of a good sentence. I said, well, its length has to be, pretty monitored, actually. I mean, it should not be a pretty long one, and I said, like, a good sentence is a one which is of 17 to 20 word, and its range is like 3 to 30. I mean, if you find a sentence with, 40 words, split it into 2. And then we talked about the unity factor, we talked about the coherence thing, we also talked about emphasis. Exactly the same way. When a sentence, like, has got so many characteristics, just imagine what happens in a paragraph. Paragraph is not one sentence. Paragraph principally means, more than one, sentences. Let's say 3 to 4. Ideally speaking, they say, like, have 3 to 4 sentences, in one paragraph. 3 to 4 sentences. Difficult to manage one single sentence, and here you are going to manage not just 1, 2, rather 3 to 4. And that is what? That is just a standard, global, streetwise length of a paragraph. But of course, people are there who write, I mean, a page long, A4 size paragraphs. I mean, they never end, actually. In fiction, like, 3, 4 pages, I mean, a paragraph can consume. But non-fiction, of course, stuff is little different, including this newspaper thing and all. But still, I mean, managing one sentence is so difficult, and just think about managing simultaneously 3 to 4 being global, 3 to 4 sentences would be how much difficult. Yes, it is difficult, but of course, like, with practice, of course, like, you can master this gimmick, this, technique. But a problem majorly lies with the novice and the developing writers, actually. They, like, find it difficult in managing with more than one sentences, when they, come together and make a paragraph. Why it's difficult? Look, you have to, many things, you have to analyze, actually. You have to decide the theme and the mood of those sentences, which potentially will be merged in one group or a paragraph. You have to decide the theme and mood. You have to find out their relationship to each other. You are, of course, going to group sentences together. It's your job, to find out how they relate to each other. Do they have same theme? Are they in the same mood? And how, do they relate to each other? You have to find out the major, minor, elements of those sentences. You have to, like, decide, which sentence contains in itself the principal idea and which sentence does not contain itself a principal idea, rather a sportive detail. And you have to decide this also, besides this decision that which sentence actually is a major, enjoys major focus. Why? Because it contains in itself the principal idea, and which sportive detail, and which is concluding, which has got such word choices, language choices, that it's concluding, the whole stuff. These things you have to find out. This makes your, paragraphing or paragraph making, actually, or, developing, difficult. Today, of course, in this lecture, I'll focus on, different types of paragraphs and, what are the structures, actually. And I'll share with you tips and techniques, to make your job easy, that this is how, like, we compose, paragraphs, or we develop, paragraphs. I should also tell you that paragraphs also have, like sentences, they also have 3 major, characteristics or qualities. Like, of course, number 1, unity. All paragraphs are independent units. The way, like, sentences, they are independent units, exactly the same way paragraphs are also independent units. Number 1. Number 2, all the elements inside the paragraphs, they should be, in proper coherence. And the third important point, the development of the paragraph. It should be properly, appropriately, suitably developed. Of course, when we say development, our focus is, of course, towards information element of the paragraph thing. When I say unity, what does it mean, unity? Unity actually means that, let's say, as I said, a global guideline towards the length of a paragraph is 3 to 4 sentences. Just take this one as this length as an example. Unity actually then means there will be, of course, different sentences inside that group. I'll call paragraph as a group, because so far we haven't talked actually about the formal skeleton structure of paragraph. So I'll just call it a group, okay? So you have to, there will be 3, 4 sentences in that group. Now, when I say unity, it means all the 3, 4 sentences, they should be built, developed across one central idea. What I'm saying? That all the sentences, 3, 4 sentences, which you're going to group them together, they should be built across one central idea, okay? And usually, rather, I would say mostly, writers, they express their central idea in the topic sentence, which is always the first sentence of the paragraph. The first sentence of the paragraph, we call it topic sentence. Why we call it topic sentence? Because it contains in itself the central, the ruling idea of your, paragraph. Okay? And then after that topic sentence, you can have 1 or 2 or 3. And since we are, keeping ourselves to the global length of a paragraph, which is, 4 sentences, then it means the second and the third sentence, they are not the central idea, actually. What they are perhaps the sportive detail. Or you can say perhaps, the explanation of the topic sentence. Or you can say sort of argumentation, towards that topic sentence. So, those 2 sentences, which we are saying as sportive details and commonly known as body of the paragraph. That body of the paragraph, actually, should flow out from the topic sentence. What I'm saying is, the second and the third sentence, which we call as the body of the paragraph, that should flow out from the central idea, which is, of course, a topic sentence. And then now comes the fourth sentence, which we say as like conclusion, the wind up, the précis, the final words, of your idea. So that concludes the paragraph. So 4 sentences. First, the central idea, then sportive detail. Sportive detail has to flow out from the central idea, which is sentence number 1, the topic sentence. And then you have the third, conclusion. Now, conclusion should flow out either from the topic sentence or from, the sportive detail. Why I'm saying either? Because you must have seen that sometimes conclusion is just the repetition of topic sentence, or at times writers try to summarize the sportive details in the last sentence and call it a conclusion. This is what we call unity. Now look, important thing is each and everything of that group is flowing out from each other. That is the important thing. I mean, if you remember one example, more than 2-3 times I quoted when I was talking about the unity of a sentence, and the example was, Irfan is my friend and Eiffel Tower is in Paris. I mean, 2 clauses I put together making no sense, no relation to each other. Theme, mood, everything is different. 1 clause, discussion of my friend. 2nd clause, the discussion of a place. They've got nothing to do with each other. So they cannot, stand together in one sentence. Exactly the same way, these 3 things which I'm talking to you about, topic sentence, sportive details, and, closing sentence, these 4 sentences as one independent unit should flow out from each other. This is what we call unity. The second characteristic of a paragraph is coherence. Look, the 4 directions. This is the easiest way I can explain you what is coherence. And of course, because we talked about coherence when we were, of course, discussing the qualities of good writing. There are 4 directions, east, west, and north, and south. Exactly the same way there are 4 directions in your sentence also. In your paragraph also. 4 directions. East, west, north, and south. Look at this. These are actually 2 expansions. Your sentences inside the paragraph, the 4 sentences, they expand from, let's say, east to west. This horizontal expansion. And your ideas, they expand from, let's say, north to south. Vertical expansion. 4 sentences. First sentence, topic sentence. Second one is what? Second one is the sportive detail. And what is third one? Third one is the closing. So this is vertical flow of your idea. They should be properly, logically, pragmatically connected with each other. This is called vertical flow of your paragraph. Vertical coherence of your paragraph. Then you have horizontal. There are 2, I said 2, if you, one sentence, topic sentence, then 2 sentences are sportive details, okay? Sportive detail is one, you can say unit, okay? And that flows left to right. East to, let's say, west. This is horizontal expansion. Take it this way, when one sentence one idea as topic sentence links itself to second idea as sportive details, and these two link themselves, with the third idea, which is the closing, vertically cohered. And then horizontally cohered when one sentence, no, I'm not saying one idea, I'm saying one sentence links itself with another sentence, and these two sentences link themselves with the third sentence. This is, east-west, or you can say horizontal, linkage. Therefore, your idea, your paragraph should hold together all the ideas inside the paragraph, all the sentences inside the paragraph. They should hold together. They should not be loosely connected with each other, very logically connected with each other, in a very logical sequence, and there should be a clear-cut progression. I mean, a good paragraph is the one which is in prospective order. Prospective order being, reader should feel that, this is A, next is B, then is C, then is D, then is Z. Reader should not feel, okay, this is A, then B, then C, and again A, and then B, and then C, D, then again B, then C. I mean, it should be in prospective order. Move forward, not stay there, and we call it, circular motion of ideas. That's wrong. You start from A, and again you reach A, not Z. So, good paragraph is in prospective order. What you read first, second, writer does not repeat actually. He takes you ahead. You move ahead, in your paragraph thing. And this is how, he delivers, of course, his information. Another important thing. Now, there'll be lots of, references from journalism as well. Another important thing is that in journalism, you have two things to do, or you have two jobs to perform. Number one, a great deal of information you need to share, and number two, in very limited space. Great deal of information in limited space. That's your fight, that's your job, that's your craft. That's the demand, actually. This is what actually the man sitting in the newspaper as editor, he expects from you this ability, this competency, that you could take hold of loads of information and in very, very limited space. How is it possible? Very simple. If you keep your paragraphs highly, highly unified, cohered, and extremely and compactly developed. Now, the last point is left, development as characteristic of a good paragraph. Look, when we say development, development means the information, which you are giving in your paragraph, it should be appropriate and sufficient. Appropriate, sufficient, so that it could qualify the test of completeness. This is how, the three characteristics, are there for, for paragraphs. Here, like sentences, emphasis is not that, a question. Here, question actually is, unity, coherence, and development. Even here, the length is not a question. Important thing is, your length is big or small. That doesn't matter. What matters most is paragraph should be an independent unit. Now, you might ask me this question, or you might be, question might be in your mind, maybe confusing you, that when we talk about essays, for example, essay is not one paragraph. It is composed of more than one paragraphs. Usually, they say, essay is should have minimum 3 paragraphs. Then, how about those 3 paragraphs? Then I would say, even in that case, when you are composing essays, or you're writing articles, or anything which is, in multi-paragraphic form, over there also, paragraphs remain as independent units, but under one umbrella. I mean, this is something interesting. Paragraph will remain with 3 qualities. It will still be called one independent unit. under an umbrella. Under an umbrella means under a theme. For example, if you're talking about pollution, you're discussing pollution in your locality. Okay, you talked about previous 5 years, like situation, so that goes as history. Then you are talking about the current situation, the present scenario. Then you talk about the causes of this pollution. You talked about the effects on the people, especially on children, for example. And then the remedies, for example. Now, all these 4-5 points are 4-5 paragraphs, 4-5 independent units. An umbrella is one, which is that pollution, a topic. Each and every paragraph, directly, indirectly, is talking about pollution. The theme is same. Paragraphs are different. And each and every paragraph has its own central idea. But of course, they're linked with each other. And they're in prospective order. Like, first we talked about past, then present, then causes, then effects of that pollution, and then remedies. So don't you think it's in prospective order, coming from past, going to present, and then, of course, maybe to future? So this is how paragraphs, like, they go. It's not easy thing. You really need to do a lot of practice. And now I'll take you towards different types of paragraphs. And I'll tell you, like, how, they are, like, composed of, they are built up, what are their structures and skeletons. And I'll be very, very slow and steady, because it's, I believe, a delicate part of, your course. Once it's understood and competency developed, believe me, then longer discourse will not be a problem. The way I used to say, if you mastered sentence, then paragraph will not be a problem. And today I'm saying, if you mastered paragraphing, discourse will not be a problem. Doesn't matter you are writing feature or article or, column or news or whatever you are writing. If you can master this paragraphing, believe me, you will be enjoying the extreme level of comfort in this writing game. Now, let's move now towards the first type of paragraph, which we call a simple listing paragraph. On your screen, I am going to give you list containing 4 or 5 items. Let's go through that item, and then you would see the same item put into sentences also. And then you would see the same sentences put into a group also. Let's take a look. You can see that there are 5 items in the list: water bottle, sweater, compass, sandwiches, and camera. Now, this is your, list containing 5 points, 5 items. The same list, can be put into words also. Like, I need a water bottle for the hike in case I get thirsty. Second, a sweater is useful if it gets cold. Third, a compass will help me go in the right direction. Sandwiches will be an easy-to-carry snack. I can use a camera to take picture of unusual or attractive places. Now, these are same. I can say list is same, but in the previous list, or you can say in list A, they were just items. In list B, what I did, I, elaborated the items in the list, or you can say the same, items I put into sentences. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to put these sentences or this list, items of this list, into a group. I'm not going to call paragraph. Why? I'll tell you later. I'm just saying group. Now, these 5 sentences I'm going to put in a group. You can take a look. Now, same 5 sentences. You can see, say 5 sentences are now in one group. They are no more as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 items. Now, they are in one group, following each other. I mean, if I read it for you fast, I need a water bottle for the hike in case I get thirsty. A sweater is useful if it gets cold, and onwards. So this is how I have given it to you. And if you can see closely, I have introduced an indent also to this group. Now, indent actually means, if you know computers, the tab function, which is, I guess, equal to 5 spaces. 5 times if you, press the space bar, that's equal to, let's say, 1 tab, 1 indent. Now, this indent, I believe, is one very, very important layout aspect of a paragraph. All paragraphs have to be, indented. Okay? Now, my question to you is, these 5 now sentences, I have grouped them together, and I removed their bullets or numbers. I removed their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I removed any, visual, verbal elements, and grouped them, and I indented the first sentence also. My question to you is it a paragraph? Think. Decide. Is it a paragraph? Can anybody tell? Is it a paragraph? What's your answer? Is it a paragraph or not? Confused? Yes? Like any normal person, no problem. Like, if you take a look once again, very carefully, and answer now my 1 to 2. Question number 1. Do you find any topic sentence in this group? When I say topic sentence, I mean to say central idea. Do you find? Yes, there are like 5 sentences I've grouped together, but where is the topic sentence? Where is the head of this, paragraph? I'm using now word head. Like if you take human body, first is head and then torso, which we call as the body. And then, you have, like let's say toe. Where is the head? Head is the topic sentence, which carries the central idea. Of course, that's missing, number 1. What are these 5 sentences? Well, that's the body, let's say, of, this group. My second question, is there any concluding line in this group, which is the toe of your paragraph? Your answer will be again no. So I asked you 2 questions. Where is the central idea? I mean, where is the topic sentence? That's missing. So if a group of sentences to be called a sentence, or to be called a paragraph, has to have the cap, the head of it, which is the topic sentence, which is the opening sentence. Opening sentence which carries the main central theme, the idea, the thought of your, that group. And then there should be one more sentence in the end of that group, which to be called as the wind up of that, or the concluding line of that group. Now, if there are 4 things, now please keep in mind, understand if there are 4 things. Number 1, topic sentence, which is always number 1 sentence, the first sentence of a paragraph. Number 2, the body, the sportive details, the, let's say, your arguments, the explanation, the description, whatever you call that, the body of, that paragraph. In this example's case, 5 these sentences put together. And then number 3, the last concluding sentence. And number 4, the indentation. Indentation means the first sentence, topic sentence, has to be indented. Now, these 4 are the qualification for any group of sentences put together, or group of sentences called as a paragraph. Please take one more example, and let's now, apply the same steps, the same qualification, onto that group, and see which sentence is a topic sentence, what a topic sentence looks like, what a concluding sentence looks like, what it does actually, and what is indentation. Let's take a look. Now, on your screen, you can see, again, group of sentences, 3, 4, 5, I can see, just one glance, those, sentences. Let me read them for you. New York City has many interesting areas. Chinatown is a neighborhood where you can eat good Chinese food. On 5th Avenue, you can see many beautiful stores. Greenwich Village has interesting clubs and restaurants. Broadway is the center of American theater. Truly, New York has something for everyone. Now, if you see this sentence, it is totally different from the previous example. In the previous example, there were only 5 sentences put together. No head, no toe, no indentation. But here what? Here you see one opening sentence. What's that opening sentence? New York City has many interesting areas. Opening sentence is a general sentence. It will not talk about what are those areas actually. It has like very broadly, very generally, very globally, opened the paragraph, many, interesting areas. That is your opening. That is your topic sentence. And inside this topic sentence is the central idea. Means in the next coming sentences, you will be talking now about those areas which you mentioned actually, or which you disclosed in the topic sentence. And then comes what? Those 4 or 5 interesting areas. Like the first one was the Chinatown, second was Fifth Avenue, then Greenwich Village, then Broadway. And if you see once again the last sentence, what's that? Last sentence is, truly, New York has something for everyone. Now, if you see, the last sentence is not another interesting area writer is talking about. Rather, it is summing up. As I told you before, that everything in a paragraph, everything should flow out from each other. The body of this paragraph was flowing out from interesting areas. The conclusion is coming out from the topic sentence and, what you call the body of your paragraph. And you can see that the first sentence, the topic sentence is indented. So this is what, a paragraph is. And such paragraphs are called simple listing paragraphs, in which we only list out things. Like in the previous example, you have seen that what different things you need for hiking. You need water bottle, you need, let's say, some trainers, you need, sandwiches, you need some bag to carry your things. Maybe you need a pea cap. I'm like, giving some, new thoughts. So this is a list actually. We are not saying which one is more important, which one is less important. We are not saying. In listing paragraph, we do not say these things, which is more important, which is less. We simply list out things that, these things you need for hiking. Or, like in this example, you can say, well, these are 4 or 5 areas of Pakistan or of New York, which offer something interesting, to tourists. 1, 2, 3, 4. You didn't talk about which one is more important, which one is less. No. Listing paragraph is the one. Listing paragraph is the one which only lists out items, areas, things. Does not talk about which is more important, which is less important, or even does not talk about why this is important and why this is not important. Is it clear? So that's why we call it a simple listing paragraph. Let me give you one more example. On the screen, there are many ways to improve your tennis game. Now, question to you is, in the topic sentence, now you know what is topic sentence. There are many ways to improve your tennis game. Now, my question to you is, as you know now, that this sentence is the topic sentence, what will come next now in the paragraph? Yes, your answer is right. Those different ways to improve. Writer will now discuss different ways to improve. He will only list out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ways to improve your tennis. And I guess the same is on your screen. You can work to increase your overall strength and stamina by running or doing other exercises. Now, this is your list number 1. Item of the list. First item. Second, you might engage in other game that require quick reflexes and reactions, such as handball. Now, this is your second item of the list. Or you could work directly on your tennis game by taking lessons to improve your weak points. And there is one more point. More precisely, you can read books on tennis to understand the strategy of the game better. Now, I'm going to read the next sentence and I'll ask you again the same question. No matter which way you choose to reach your goal, you should work at it regularly over a period of time. Now, what is this sentence? Of course, your answer will be that this is not another item of the list. Rather, it is a concluding line that whatever method, whatever item you choose, important thing is, you do it regularly. And exhibit and display, discipline. And of course, you'll get that. So listing paragraph has, again, 4 things like any other paragraph. Number 1, topic sentence which contains central idea. Number 2, the body of the paragraph, in which, you write, in listing, you write items of the list. And then third paragraph is the concluding paragraph. And you indent the first sentence. This is what, paragraph stuff is. Now, I'll not go ahead unless I give you a little homework. I have jotted down some topics for you. What you're going to do is, at home, try out, writing on these topics. Like you can write on my courses at university, my favorite things, my favorite places in Pakistan, the people in my family. Now, this assignment is, or this homework is for listing paragraphs. Then it means you are going to prepare a listing paragraph. Listing paragraph means only you will list out things like your favorite courses. You studied, let's say, 25 courses. Out of those 25 courses, what courses are your favorites? Or you can say, your favorite books. You can enlist those favorite books. Your favorite personalities, you can, enlist those favorite personalities. So this is how, you will prepare a listing paragraph. Don't forget doing 3 things. The first one, topic sentence. The last one, concluding sentence. And indent the first sentence. And paragraph is there. Now, from here, we'll move towards second type of paragraph, which we call order of importance paragraph. Now, what is order of importance? I would like to illustrate the difference between, illustrate the definition of order of importance by comparing it with the listing paragraph. Look, order of importance paragraph also has one topic sentence, which contains central idea, one last concluding sentence, which is a summary of the previous stuff, and of course, indentation is there. It has the first sentence is going to be indented. Then what's the difference? Difference is the body of the paragraph. Please keep in mind, the difference between listing paragraph and order of importance paragraph is the body only, not topic sentence, that's same. Not concluding sentence, that's same. Indent is also same. Difference is the body. Now, I have brought for you 2, paragraphs. I have put actually listing paragraph and order of importance paragraph side by side, so that you could have an analysis of the both and understand, okay, fine, there lies, the difference. Like the first one, when we choose a car, we must think about many things. When we choose a car, we must think about many things. This is what? This is your topic sentence. And after topic sentence, when we said we must think about many things, now in the next sentences will be those many things. It must be big enough for the people we want to carry. It must not cost more than we want to spend. It should be fuel efficient. We want a car that looks good. It can be difficult to find the right car. Now, in this paragraph, you see, the first sentence was many things to keep in mind before you go and buy a car. Then you listed out those things. That could be a color, that could be fuel efficiency, that could be, the size of that car, how many passengers it can carry, or that could be the brand. Some guys are brand conscious, that can be the reason. And then in the end, concluding sentences, it's very difficult to, select a good car. This is what paragraph? This is just a listing paragraph. Topic sentence, and 4 or 5 lists, and then concluding sentence. Simple. And if I read the next paragraph for you, you will see a clear-cut difference. And that difference actually is due to its different type, order of importance. It goes this way. When we choose a car, we must think about many things. See, the same sentence, that was in order of listing paragraph. It starts also the same way. Difference will be in the body. And the body starts how? The most important is that it must be big enough for the number of people we want to carry. Did you see the difference? In the previous paragraph, there was no, not this thing. The most important thing we should keep in mind. In listing paragraph, we don't do these things. What's the most important? What's the second most important? What's the third most important? No, no, no. It is actually order of, look at the name. Name is what? Order of importance. Order of importance. Importance given in proper order. Most important, second most important, third most important, or maybe in the end, something least important. So the most important thing to keep in mind before, or, going to buy some car is so-and-so thing. And the second point is, the second most important thing is that it must not cost more than we want to spend. Third, it should be fuel efficient. Last, we want a car that looks good. It can be difficult to find the right car. Did you see the difference in listing paragraph and order of importance paragraph? In order of importance, we, let's say, 4 or 5 points we want to mention. How we'll mention? Well, we'll ask ourselves which one is the most important. That comes first. Which one is the second important? That comes second. Third, fourth, last. Obviously last. And then at the on the top, topic sentence. And, concluding sentence. Indentation. Paragraph is there. Let me give you some more example. And then, of course, things will be rather, clear. Let's say topic in our hand is what makes a good boss. We want to write, a paragraph on this topic. What makes a good boss? If I ask you this question, what makes a good boss? Maybe you say a good boss is the one who should know his job. Okay, you may say he should be qualified. He should be punctual. He should be self-reliant. He should be disciplined, and he should be honest and efficient. I mean, there are 100 and many qualities, we can talk about. I have, out of these 100 and many qualities, of course, 100 and many qualities means, 100 and many sentences, and 100 and many sentences means, a mile-long paragraph. So I have also enlisted 3-4 qualities of what makes a good boss. Like number 1, fairness. Number 2, leadership. And number 3, consistency. Let's say these are the 3 points we want to, talk about in this paragraph, what makes a good boss. My question to you is, the 3 ideas which I have put in front of you, question to you is, do you agree that these 3 points are in order of importance? I mean to say, the first I have given you is fairness. Do you think, to you, to me, the most important quality of a good, boss is fairness? He should be fair with himself, with his employees. Fairness. To you, if it's the same, then keep it number 1. Number 2, I said leadership. I mean, he should be a good leader. He should know how to lead. He should know how to lead himself. He should know how to lead his employees. So if you think, yeah, this is the second most important quality, so keep it there. Or you can change. If you think leadership is number 1, bring leadership number 1. Bring fairness down. I don't mind, because my order of importance may be different. Your order of importance may be different. Doesn't matter. What matters most is, technically we should be correct. The paragraph style which we are choosing, if it's order of importance, then technically it should be correct. It doesn't matter what is important to you, what is important to me. That's no question. The third one, I said consistency. I said number 1, fairness. Number 2, discipline. Number 3, consistency. If the third point is also like in order of importance for you, keep it there. Now, these points, you and me, we decided and we agreed upon that these are the 3 qualities which we'll discuss in our paragraph, which is going to be on what makes a good boss. And we also agreed upon its order of importance. Now, what method we are going to follow? Number 1, we'll write a topic sentence. Number 2, we'll write 1 sentence on each quality, keeping fairness number 1, most important, leadership, second most important, consistency, third most important, and then we'll write 1 concluding line, and we'll indent the first sentence. See if I've done the same way. There are 3 important qualities necessary in a good boss. Now, this is your topic sentence. Now, what is coming next? The same 3 qualities in the same sequence which we decided. The most important is, fairness. If the boss is fair, workers can feel that if they do a good job, their work will be appreciated and their efforts will be rewarded. Now, this is our first, most important quality of a good boss. And second will be, the second most important quality is leadership. The boss should be an example and a teacher. This allows workers to learn from a boss so that they can increase their job skills and get promoted. Now comes the third most important point or most important quality for a good boss. The third most important factor is that the boss acts with consistency. That way the workers know what to expect each day. They know how they will be treated and what the share of the workload will be. And last will be what? Of course, conclusion. I would hire a boss with these three qualities for myself. Now, this is your paragraph in which we talked about the three qualities, and then we put those three qualities in an order of importance. And then one sentence for each quality. Okay. One topic sentence, which is central idea. One concluding sentence, which is sort of a summary or just a wind up. And the first sentence indented. And the paragraph is there. Please keep in mind, words or phrases which we use to show that we are writing about order of importance. So what words and phrases we are using? The most important, the first most important, the second most important, the third most important. These are words and phrases, which we use to keep ourselves differentiated from listing paragraph and order of importance paragraph. In listing paragraph, we only list out things. We do not say which one is more important, which one is less important. We do not say. Or I can use a better, phrase for you, that listing paragraph, in listing paragraph, items are in no particular order. In order of importance paragraph, all items are in particular order, and that particular order is order of importance. And it's not just order of importance. It can be order of difficulty also. If you are talking about, the difficulties, for example, for certain things. So, the most difficult thing, the second most difficult thing, the third most difficult thing. If you're talking about the interesting things, for example, so the most interesting, the second interesting, the third interesting, the fourth interesting. So, this is all, you can, arrange your thoughts together and make up your paragraph. So, dear students, today we talked about the characteristics of a good paragraph, and I told you good paragraph, like good sentences, has three, qualities. Number one, a good paragraph should enjoy unity, unified, independent unit. Number two, coherence. All the items inside your paragraph should be properly cohered. Left to right, top to bottom. Everything should hold together. Number three, I talked about development. Your paragraph should be in compact development, appropriately, sufficiently. Concrete, complete. Okay? Because the caution I gave you is that journalists actually they fight with two things: great deal of information and less amount of space. So their writing has to be, paragraphs have to be extremely unified, cohered, and compactly developed. And then we started talking about different types of paragraphs and their tips and techniques. Today we discussed two. Number one, simple listing paragraph, and number two, order of importance. And I tried to highlight, explain, illustrate their differences with the help of many examples. I hope you understood. In our next class, we'll talk about some more types of paragraphs. With this, I call it a day. Take care of yourself and each other. See you next time. Bye-bye.